So the third and final junior road tax heat, groups A and B. Your grid is as follows. On pole position, it's Tim Gerhards with Thomas Martins alongside on the front row. Oscar Christensen and Jaden Thien, that is row number 2. And behind them will be Christian de Klein and Simon Birch Christensen, representing the Netherlands and Denmark. Luke Nielsen and Valentin Klus round out row number 4, ahead of Sweden's Arvid Rosen and Tern Schmidt from the Netherlands. Nikita Genza is in 11th ahead of Dirk Janssen with Austin Lee and Sam Bergstein rounding out the top 7 rows. Luca Schoenmakers and Dewey de Decker, that's the top 16. Tom Braken would be joined by David Outleitner, but I haven't seen him on circuit, and neither has the timing picked the young Polish driver up on the timing screens. Astrid Amlöf will be ahead of Bruno Modders, Maxim Sochoko, Jori Schoens, Alex Mikos, Kian Agasade from Germany, Variato Wildermann, Mikkel Gard Pedersen, Roman Sokowski and Danny van Hoyten. Now, I've also got Dan Ginchard showing up in 29th position, but I'll just wait to see if his transponder comes through, or is there something that might... Now, I can't see the 204 on the circuit at the minute. Whether there has been an issue, I'm not sure, because the rain is going to add a different dimension to this race, as well as the senior road tax third heat shortly after this one. So it's Gerhards, Martins, Christensen, Thien, de Klein, Birch Christensen. As Jaden Thien looks to try and get back into position on row number 2. So it looks like we could be down to 27 competitors. As Jaden Thien, yep, trying to get through into... So should be ahead of Simon Birch Christensen, I believe. So the red lights are on the starting gantry. Let's have a look at this one. We go, lights out. As the 207 of Sarkovsky tumbles way down the order, as it is. They're nearly tripping all over each other. It's 4 abreast. Dan Ginchard fires out of the pre-grid. So, and so does David Outleitner from Poland. So both drivers, as we've got 2 nearly grass tracking, 1 goes nearly 4 wheels off the circuit. Going through turns 4 and 5. As there looks to be Christian de Klein, I think, going up the inside of Simon Birch Christensen. Someone's pulled to a stop off of turn 6. So driver is now getting out of the kart. Everyone is just trying to hang on and just keep going forward, as there looks to be a change possibly for the lead. Tim Gerhards, oh, very sideways, and pouncing past the Dutch driver is, I'm going to get that number now, is the 255 of Martins. And now here comes Christian de Klein into the mix, as they're all scrabbling. It was 3 abreast, and on the inside of it was Pedersen with Mikos and Van Ruyten around the outside, and someone's gone. Well, someone was going very, very wide. It is not easy. These juniors are trying to put the power down, and when the wheels are spooling up, it's not proving to be that helpful. So sometimes when you try and push the foot to the floor, as we have got another driver off of turn number 2. Can I ask that driver DD2 for 21, Lasse Andresen, to report to the stewards immediately, please? It is very much who is going to end up surviving, not who is going to get the upper hand on who. It's about who can keep it planted on the tarmac. Tim Gerhard's now in 5th place. And that looks to be that we've got a couple of drivers. Arvid Rosen, I think, has got past Oscar Christiansen. No, actually nearly barrels into the side of Tim Gerhards, who was running third. And just ahead is that is Drek Jansen I've just spotted. Drek Jansen in the 2:31, now ahead of pole sitter Tim Gerhards on the road. And the lead of it at the minute is Thomas Martens. Christian de Klein is second. Simon Birch Christiansen is third. Drek Jansen fourth. Tim Gerhards fifth. Arvid Rosen, Oscar Christiansen, Lucas Schoenmakers. And it is Astrid Amlöf that has unfortunately retired off of turn number 6. So Amlöf out. Variato Wildermann not having a good day either. So the young German in the 250 down in 28th position, but might have parked it. Bruno Mulders up to 11th ahead of Dewey de Decker. Roman Sakowski, who had a bit of a difficult start, is now behind Jaden Thien in 16th position. Oh! Now, who was that? Was that Simon Birch Christiansen? Was that Simon Birch Christiansen that went? That is. Birch Christiansen comes out of turn 9. A bit too much curb there. The Dane buries the throttle. It spits him out the other way and puts him backwards on the grass. And has made a couple of skew-whiff 11s, mud style, trying to get out of the grass. And that has dropped Birch Christiansen all the way out. Now, let's have a look at this here. Yeah, he's caught the curbs. He's tried to run wide. They are slick as anything. And here we go. Spools up the rear wheels like a good one. And that just shows that in these conditions, the curb is not your friend in any way, shape or form. You can find that it might have that kind of issue. Just bear with us a moment. We're just checking into the announcement I've just made. Bear with us a second. We'll come back to you in a minute with regards to it. So, as now it is definitely not easy out there as Tim Gerhards. Oh, side by side for the lead. Christian de Klein was going up the inside of Thomas Martens. He does so on turn 12. 2 wheels on the curbs, runs a little bit wide. Martens has to avoid. So Christian de Klein now leads this race. On to lap number 5. Drek Jansen as the lead now changes again. Lasse Andresen, can you report to the stewards immediately? DD2 driver. The battle for the lead quite clearly on. Christian de Klein and Thomas Martens battling over it like kids at a sweet shop. But now the thing is that Christian de Klein is ahead and has about 6 kart lengths. Maybe make that 8 going into turn 7 on Thomas Martens as Rosen, Mulders, Schoenmakers, they are all literally trying to go for 3rd place. As Tim Gerhards, I think, is now down in... Oh, now that was very wide. Who was that? Some individual, very, very... that was, I think that was Schoenmakers, possibly, that went a bit wide. Bruno Mulders has had an absolute field day. The youngster in the CRG chassis is now... That is 3rd place. Bruno Mulders has come through smelling of roses despite the rain and the mud that has been kicked up by Simon Birch Christiansen off of the exit of turn 9 and is now in 3rd place. Schoenmakers 4th. Rosen. Gerhards being pressurized by Denmark's Oscar Christiansen. Oh no, I think that was Christiansen that went wide. Christiansen went wide off of turn 3. So tried to put the brakes on and the kart just was not having any of it. Rain still starting to come down. We are into the final few seconds as it is all for themselves, as it is side by side heading into turn 7. And the driver that has just made the manoeuvre is the 234 of Danny van Ruyten. And Van Ruyten now has gone up the inside of Luke Neeson. So Neeson now loses a position. So 2 places in 2 corners by Danny Van Ruyten from the Netherlands. But here comes Christian de Klein, who gets the last lap board itself, with Wilderman and Amlov having retired on the first and second lap respectively of this race. 27 drivers will finish. It's a case of who is going to finish where, because Dan Ginchard has been biding his time. He's gone for 8th position. I think he's got that, having got past Van Ruyten. So Dan Ginchard, having started from the pre-grid along with Outledner, and Outledner hasn't fared as well. So the leaders coming down towards turn 7 for the final time, as everyone's nearly tripping all over each other as Rosen goes up the inside of Gerhardt. That is for 6th position through turn 6. The rain starts intensifying once again, in some respects, in the fact that it's being blown sideways, and the temerity, the ferocity of it is starting to increase. As now Christian de Klein, the number 299 from the Netherlands, will now come round towards... Now, there is a time penalty being issued. I think that might be the two... I'm just keeping an eye on who that might be. But I'll wait until I get confirmation. Christian de Klein takes the win by nearly 1.4 seconds ahead of Thomas Martins. Bruno Mulders, what a drive from the youngster, running on the CRG chassis up to P3 at the end of it all. Lucas Schoenmakers, P4. Derek Janssen, P5. Daniel Ginchard, 6th place from the pre-grid. Again, another strong performance from the young Briton. Arvid Rosen would get the better of Tim Gerhardt at the end of that race to finish in 8th ahead of Danny Van Ruyten. Simon Birch Christensen, who went spinning out of 3rd position coming out of turn 9 a bit earlier on in the race, finishes in 10th. Luke Nessen takes 11th place ahead of Oscar Christensen. Kian Agasade from Germany, Dewey de Decker from Belgium, Maxim Sechurko from Belarus, Valentin Klus from Germany, Roman Sakovsky also from Belarus, with Turnschmidt and Jaden Thien rounding out the top 19 ahead of Germany's Nikita Genzer. Jori Schoens, Alex Mikos, Sam Bergstein, Austin Lee, Tom Braken, Mikkel Gard Pedersen and David Outledner round out the 27 strong that finished the race, unfortunately for Variato Wilderman on lap 2 and Sweden's Astrid Amlof on the very first lap. Their races came to an abrupt halt here at Karting Genk.